Evaluation question 4. How did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? At the start of my media coursework, my Adobe Photoshop skills were average, as I knew the basics and some advanced things that I had learned from my GCSE coursework. However, my Adobe InDesign skills were not that good, as I had never really used it in GCSE, and so it was a fairly new software for me to learn. During my AS year, I completed a preliminary exercise. This greatly improved my InDesign skills, as I could now use the basics of the software without needing that much assistance. An example of the things I could do after completing the preliminary exercise would be opening a new document, editing the size of the document so that I could make it the same size as a real magazine, using the selection tool to resize images, using the text tool to create mastheads and other pieces of information. My Photoshop skills stayed relatively the same when the exercise was complete because I didn't do anything that I hadn't done before. Moreover, I learned how to create and maintain a blog where I could showcase the work that I had done. However, at this point it was quite basic and didn't use any videos or GIFs because I didn't know how to make them. More of my research was quite poor at this time, as when I created my audience profile, I created it on Microsoft Word, and it didn't look anything like an actual magazine's audience profile. Furthermore, while I created a fairly poor audience profile in AS, I had learned a lot about the keyboard shortcuts for Word, and so in the future I was much more time efficient in creating work on Word. Another thing I had improved upon, this time in my A2, was my photography skills. This is because I had once again been using photography in all of my courses, which gave me a good understanding of what I needed when it came to doing photography for any of my media products, like the rule of thirds and depth of field in order to place importance on certain parts of the subject matter. Furthermore, I had used mise-en-scène and Lennang's theory of imaginary entity to create what I thought a person from my audience would look like, so I could make my model look similar, encoding the idea that my magazine understood the audience, and so the audience could trust the magazine, creating a preferred reading. One of the best things about Photoshop is that there aren't many limits to what you can do to your photos or other projects on it. However, when I first started using Photoshop, I was pretty overwhelmed by the amount of tools that there were, and the fact that it would sometimes crash unexpectedly. But I overcame these issues by saving my work regularly and the gradual use of all the tools and filters. InDesign is great for formatting text and ideal for multi-page documents because of its master page tools, allowing you to create templates for your pages. However, it has little to no photo editing tools and extremely limited illustration tools. But this isn't what the software was designed to do in the first place, as these two things are more Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop's area of expertise.